I'm revisiting The Divine Feminine, which was Mac Miller's second to last album. Technically third to last album if you include Circles, which came out after he passed away. But it came out before Swimming. And Mark Robb has made comments that this was even on the Mac Miller episode, if you go back, it's in the 80s of the archives. He's even said how he felt like The Divine Feminine was his favorite Mac Miller project. And I listened to it when I literally condensed. I started from watching movies, and then I went all the way through Circles. So I was on quite the ride, and it was my first time really listening to Mac since he passed away. And I probably snuck Faces in there in that process. I can't remember if I listened to Faces separately, which I love Faces. I've said that before on the pod. But, just going on that ride of that whole discography and knowing how his life ended, it was really depressing. I enjoyed the music because I enjoyed Mac, and I am a fan of his music. But going on that whole ride as a whole was just very emotionally draining. So I don't think I appreciated The Divine Feminine as much as I am now, because this album is pretty incredible. Like, I keep seeing, I follow a couple of Mac Miller accounts, and so Instagram will recommend me other Mac Miller stuff. So I'll keep seeing reels of just Mac rapping Congratulations live and stuff like that. And if I could spell. And I just got really obsessed with that piano loop that he used. So that was what made me initially go back and re-listen to it. I kind of remembered Congratulations, but it didn't have such an effect on me as it does now. So I was like, I gotta listen to this song. And so I pulled it up on Spotify and I played it. And I was like, damn, it's the very first song on the album. So let me just go ahead and run this whole thing again. And of course, I love Dang. I love Dang from the first time I heard it. But I'm up to my favorite part. And this whole album is nuts. Musically, there's nothing. I enjoyed Swimming. I think Swimming's a really good album, and I like Circles, but again, Mac wasn't here to finish it, so you take that with a grain of salt. But this album musically is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I'm actually looking at the track list, and I don't see a lot of Mac Miller production. I just see writing credits. Matter of fact, I don't really see, and I really don't see. Yeah, like there's no production credits for Mac on here. Now that's not to say that Mac didn't spruce some things up, and of course he probably was involved in the sequence. He did the sequencing and how he wanted it to sound and added these extra layers. So, but he was really just an artist here, and the journey it takes you on, it's quite amazing, man. So I'm just gonna read you the background. So Miller began working on Divine Feminine directly after completing his previous studio album, Good AM. Wanting to explore the emotion of love, he initially intended Divine and Feminine to be an EP, changed it to a full-length album to allow himself to be more vulnerable. According to Miller, the album was not just about romantic love, but also about learning from women throughout his life and what those experiences meant to him. In May 2018, singer Ariana Grande, Miller's girlfriend at the time, did not acclaim the entire album was about her, but said the track Cinderella was. So that's what's so cool about Divine Feminine, because when I'm listen to it as a whole of the entire run of the back half of Mac's discography, it was kind of difficult to digest because I'm just so focused on hearing the lyrics and enjoying the beats that I'm not really soaking in the whole project, so to speak, like I should have. And listening to it by itself, you're damn right it explores love. I mean, obviously Ariana's vocals are in the intro and, an album by Mac Miller and all this stuff. And people were saying the whole album's about her. Congratulations is about the girl he was with around the Good AM era, I believe, if I'm not wrong. I can't remember what her name is. I see it all the time in the comments because people assume It's about Ariana because the Mac Miller accounts will post stuff with photos of him and Ariana and have congratulations playing. So while that works in a sense of it being love that did not work out, it's not even about her. But then just the themes and the musicality featured throughout the whole thing, it just, again, goes to show how much of a genius Mac was. Because not only was he doing his own production, he was doing jazz stuff under a different name. He was doing mixtapes. Mac was a studio rat. And the only thing next to being a studio rat that he loved more was probably the drugs, to be honest. And it just really shows how much of a craft, how much he was trying to hone his craft. There it is. And then how much the results just were beautiful. And my favorite song on here, like I said, I'm kind of stuck on congratulations. But one, Cinderella's 8 minutes long, and it doesn't feel long enough. Like, I look down at my Spotify because I have the car mode on and I can kind of see where the progress is in the song. And it was halfway through, and I was like, dang, this song's been on for a minute, but I can't get enough of it. And every feature on this album just feels so perfect and calculated, and I love it. I actually do really enjoy God is Fair, Sexy Nasty, which features Kendrick on it. That I'm about to get to, like, literally I finished and now I'm on my favorite part, which again, kudos to Mac because he had his girlfriend and Ariana Grande on his album, and the first 2/3 of the song, you don't even hear her. It's just Mac and that hook and his singing, and it just sets you on such this nice little ride. And it's like it's a nice poppy, yet his vocals are so raw and not perfect that it just gives this very real vibe of being in love. And then when Ariana comes on, of course, Ariana's killing it. And so kudos to him for doing that. There's just so many parts. Like, I don't mess with CeeLo Green anymore because of the whole drugging of the girl thing. But, I mean, We is very good. And even on the CeeLo song, CeeLo didn't come in until so much later on the song. He wasn't a huge part of the whole thing. Like, Ty Dolla $ign is pretty much all over Cinderella. But the rest of it, like when he has these features, aside from Anderson .Paak on Dang, it's really focused on him being as vulnerable as possible. And if you listen to the lyrics, like, he's really exploring some stuff that not a lot of rappers like to do. Because here's the thing. Most rappers get on and they're just I'm going to spit about how dope I am and blah, 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 and, you know, drug culture if you're into that kind of music. Or whatever. We're going to party and, you know, and I'm trying to make the catchiest song possible. It's really hard for rappers to be vulnerable. And to see that Mac actually had mastered that. And I listened to this album when it came out. I definitely ran it not long after it came out. And I was just kind of like, that was good. But again, I wasn't in the same place then that I am now. Because it came out in 2016. So you got to think, like, Hyphen Nation was 8 months old at the time. I wasn't listening to a whole lot of rap, period, outside of what I really knew and new stuff. Of notable releases that came out in 2016 off the top of my head, I can't think of one because Damn was 2017. 444 was 2017. And I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing. When did Pablo come out? Pablo might have came out in 16. But I didn't really mess with Pablo like that. But this might be one of the best albums of 2016. If not just in rap and all of music. But again, this is just me generalizing it because I'm really enjoying the fact that I press play on this. And I'm again, floored by the musicality that is Mac Miller, man.